Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game preview to our Premier League fixture on Saturday night at 5:30 against Manchester City at Goodison Park. I'm going to be talking about the game today. We're going to be giving my predicted starting 11. We're going to be talking about Manchester City. I'm going to be talking about how Everton really do need to show some fight and passion on Saturday afternoon if we've got any hope of getting anything out of a game against the Premier League champions. A little bit early today, obviously it is only 5:30. Usually we don't start the streams until around 6:15. However, I was sitting at home. I said that earlier on this morning. I knew I was going to be home quite handy, so I thought, you know what, why not just start the stream a little bit earlier, get as many people in as possible to talk about Saturday's game, which, listen, we all know it's going to be a really tough fixture. Our first game this season against one of the so-called big six, one of the so-called top six, the first game of the season that you look at and you think, right, well, you know, obviously you look at every game and you think you want Everton to go out and you want Everton to put a performance in and win, but whereas the previous games this season you've said, well, we realistically on paper we should be getting the 3 points, this one is a little bit different, obviously coming up against, in my opinion, the best team in the country, despite the fact that they've struggled in a couple of games this season. Fantastic manager, fantastic squad, and a team that are really going to give us some issues on Saturday afternoon. But I want to talk about how Manchester City play specifically, and we'll go on to talking about it a little bit later on in today's team, and why I think it might actually benefit Everton the way that Manchester City play, as opposed to the way that some of the other teams have played that were played in recent weeks, the likes of Bournemouth, the likes of Sheffield United. Firstly, obviously, I want to go on and say that it's obviously, I've said obviously about 4 times today, it's fantastic that we're coming into this game off the back of a really good win against Sheffield Wednesday. Wasn't a good performance whatsoever. It was some people would say it was a worrying performance, but what it was a good win, 2-0 win, obviously taking us into the 4th round of the Carabao Cup, in which we'll face Watford in the last week of October, Tuesday the 29th of October, I believe the game is, a couple of days after my birthday, and you know, obviously that'll give the lads a confidence boost, it'll give the lads a bit more momentum going into this game on Saturday. I said, you know, after the Sheffield United defeat, the game on Tuesday night against Sheffield Wednesday could, you know, be a real positive, or it could be a real negative. Like we said, you didn't want to be going into a game against a team like Manchester City off the back of 2 really poor defeats against teams that we realistically should be beating in Sheffield United and Bournemouth as well. So to go into it, off a decent win against Sheffield Wednesday in the Carabao Cup, another win in a cup competition, another win that takes us further in the cup competition. Obviously, it's really positive for the players. It'll motivate the players and it'll give them a little bit of confidence as well going into Saturday, because we couldn't have been going into Saturday's game with our heads on the ground and with the confidence on its arse, because these aren't a team that you can turn up against and show them a lot of the ball. These aren't a team that you can turn up against and not give 150%. We all know straight off the bat there's no point dilly-dallying about it. There's no point fart-arsing around it. We know that their squad is significantly better than our squad, player for player. Their starting 11 will be significantly better than ours. But if we show fight, if we show passion, then obviously, you know, who knows what can happen. A lot of people will be sitting here listening to this preview. A lot of people will be talking about this game. A lot of people will be thinking about this game on the weekend and thinking, well, that's a loss straight away, because, you know, it's Manchester City. Look at how, how well their attacks put together, and look at how good they've been this season going forward. Yes, they've conceded goals defensively and they've been shaky defensively, but we haven't exactly been unbelievable going forward. But I don't see the game like that. Nothing surprises me with Everton anymore. It would not surprise me if we turned up on Saturday afternoon and beat them 4-0 and absolutely blew them out the park, and it wouldn't surprise me if we turned up on Saturday afternoon and got turned over. Listen, obviously, to the generic football fan that doesn't really watch Everton or doesn't know a lot about Everton, the latter's probably the more realistic. But as an Evertonian, I've seen stranger things. I've seen us turn up and beat Pep Guardiola's Manchester City 4-0 at Goodison Park before, again in a season that we weren't particularly fantastic. I've seen us turn top 6 sides over towards the back end of last season when we didn't really think we would, beating Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United consecutively at Goodison Park as well. And it was actually that Man City game last season, we lost it 2-0. However, it was the performance against Man City that really pushed us on towards the back end of last season. I want to talk about it now, actually, because obviously, if you didn't remember, we were beaten 2-0 at Goodison Park last season by Manchester City, and it was coming up after, a pretty poor run in the Premier League, I think we'd say. Obviously, we were still sort of, off the back end of the horrific derby defeat in December at Anfield, and we were coming up against the Manchester City side who were obviously fighting with Liverpool to win the Premier League League title, and a lot of fans were humming and hawing about whether they'd take a loss, this, that and the other. I was quite open. I said I never want Everton to lose a game of football. I want Everton to win every single game of football, and that was included. We also had to play Liverpool a couple of weeks later. I think it was a week after, actually. So if we were really, really serious about stopping Liverpool winning the league, we'd beat Man City and we'd go on and beat Liverpool. And we were beaten by Man City, like I said. We were beaten 2-0. Two really late goals. I think one was at the end of the first half and one was at the end of the second half. But the performance that we put in was significantly better than any performance that we put in the previous, weeks and months of that season, because we fought, we showed heart, we showed passion, we showed fight. Yes, we come up short in the end because we didn't quite have enough quality, and that's understandable. If we show 100% heart, 100% fight and 100% passion on Saturday afternoon and we come up short because we haven't got the quality that Manchester City have, I don't think any Everton fan can argue about that. I don't think any Everton fan would be overly upset if we get beat 1 or 2-0 on Saturday, but we've given absolutely 150%. Every single player is giving it all against this Manchester City team, whereas if we don't, if we're walking around with our heads in our asses, if we're not looking like we particularly want to be on the pitch, then there will be fans that start to get on the players' backs and Marco Silva's back. Like I said, towards the back end of last season, that was the game where everybody seemed to step up. Although we were beaten, obviously, we seemed to step up. We seemed to show that we care. We seemed to show that, the fight and the passion. And then obviously you had the Merseyside derby, which we took a point off them, and that was when the siren come into play, and that was when the home form really did start. Actually, the game against Manchester City last season was our only loss away at Goodison Park in the last, 7 or 8 months, other than the loss to Sheffield United on Saturday. So literally we've been beaten once since we were beaten by Manchester City in February, and that was because of the positive impact that City game had, and the positive impact that it had on the players, the fans, and the managers as well, because he's seen the fight in his players, and the players started to believe themselves as well. Although they've been beaten by the best team in the league, and we then went on to pretty much beat everybody else at Goodison Park, because we knew that if we give that fight, if we give that passion, if we give that agency, that we could beat a lot of teams in the Premier League. Now obviously that form has carried on at Goodison Park up until last week with Sheffield United, which again, let's just hope it was just a blip, let's just hope it was just a one-off sort of defeat at home. But like I said, other than that defeat, we haven't been beaten since we played Manchester City at Goodison, and that game again was coming off the back of a poor run of form. So hopefully the lads sort of take notice of that. Hopefully they understand that we really haven't been good enough in the Premier League in recent times. We've been shocking over the last couple of weeks. We weren't good enough on Tuesday night against Sheffield Wednesday, despite getting the win, and despite the fact that that'll lift confidence and that'll lift the heads. We really weren't good enough on Wednesday either. So hopefully that'll give this game will give the boys a little bit of a lift, because they know they can't go out there and they can't waltz around on the football pitch, and they can't expect a win, and they can't expect for us to go out and get something out of this game, because this is a Manchester City team that if you're not giving it 150%, they'll turn you over massively, and they might turn us over massively even if we do give it 110%. But one thing's for sure is if we're not clued up, if the defence isn't strong, if we're not concentrating throughout that entire game, we'll get embarrassed on Saturday. And that's why it's massively important that again we put in a similar performance in terms of urgency, fight, passion and concentration as that we did at Goodison Park last season against these. Despite the fact we were beaten by 2 late goals and beaten by a team with more quality in them, and that's all just spurred us on to think, well, you know what, we're actually better than what we probably think we are here, and we're a little bit better than other people are giving us credit for. And like I said, we went on a fantastic home run then, and we're only beaten last week for the first time since that game. Where are we in the live comments? Max says, hi Cam. Hi Max, hope you are doing well. David says, no Snadling, too slow. So if you look at my predicted starting 11, I dare say there's going to be people disappointed with it. It's a starting 11 that I think Marco Silva will go with, rather than a starting 11 that I want to go with. So bear with me when you see it. Don't think, oh, Cam wants Snadling in there, Cam wants, blah 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 in there. Just I'm basing it off what I think Marco Silva will line up with on Saturday afternoon, and I'll give me reasons for every single player that I've put in there in a little bit when we talk about the starting 11. I'd have probably done things a little bit differently. I'd have maybe like Tom Davies in there, and I would have maybe like Moise Kean up top with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the pair of them, but I just don't think Marco Silva will do with it. So it's a prediction at the end of the day. It's not realistically what I want, but it's what I'm predicting to happen. Ian says, I would start Davies ahead of Schneiderlin, otherwise exactly the same team I'd pick. I would as well personally, but I don't think Marco Silva will. Max says, what formation do you think we'll use against City? The same formation, 4-3-2-1 or 4-2-3-1, whatever the formation is. I'm shite with formations, but I dare say he won't change the formation for this game. Darren says, we seem to do well against City at home. Will be typical Everton to get something on Saturday. Would it surprise you if we got something out of the game after the last 2 Premier League games? Not at all, mate. Like I said, not at all. It wouldn't surprise me if we went and absolutely obliterated Manchester City and beat them by 3, 4, 5 goals. It really, really wouldn't. Nothing surprises me with Everton anymore. Nothing surprises me, because I've seen Everton come off the back of real bad spells of form and play top teams and absolutely obliterate them at home. And I've seen Everton come off the back of real good forms and play, some of the worst teams in England and be turned over. So nothing would surprise me with Everton at the minute. David says the game is ideal for 4-3-3. Match them or they'll play through us. I'd use Sigurdsson right, Iwobi, then Delph left. Yeah, obviously Marco Silva's come out very recently, or a journalist has come out actually and said that, somebody that's got quite good sources within Everton, and said that Marco Silva's ideal formation that he would like to play will be a 4-3-3. However, he needs a midfield three of Fabian Delph, Jean-Philippe Gbamin and Andre Gomes to be able to play that system, and he's not really willing to play that system without those three players. Now, obviously, we know Jean-Philippe Gbamin is still out injured and will be for the next few weeks and months. Andre Gomes, with a little bit of an update on him today from the Liverpool Echo, they are reporting that he is due to be out until mid-October, so he'll definitely miss the game on Saturday, and he may even be out until mid-October with his hip injury, so that's not good either. Like you said, Marco Silva does favour that formation, but he doesn't seem to want to play that formation unless he's got the right players, and I do understand that. I don't understand that because it's quite clear that this formation isn't working a lot of the time and it needs to change. I understand that he only wants to play the formation if he's got the right players, but like I said, we're a couple of months into the season now. We're looking at realistically end of October, early November time before all three of those players are fit, and that's going off the back that Fabian Delph will stay injury free as well. Where will we be at that point? I don't know. Maybe he just needs to bite the bullet and play the formation now and put Tom Davis in there temporarily, and maybe put Morgan Schneiderlin in there temporarily, or Sigurdsson or Iwobi, and whoever's available. But that seems to be what he wants to go with, but he doesn't want to do it until he's got his three players ready. Max says, do you think DCL will start against City? I do. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin, obviously, he played well. Listen, let's have it right. I know people seem to think that he's a championship level striker at best. I know people don't really rate Dominic Calvert-Lewin in terms of striking. And listen, he's got a lot to learn. He's got massively a lot to learn. He should have had an hat-trick the other day. He missed an absolute sitter of an opportunity in terms of the header on Tuesday night, but he scored 2 goals at the end of the day. And do I think Marco Silva will throw Moise Kean up there against this Manchester City side? Given the fact that Moise Kean struggled over the last couple of games against much weaker sides, I don't. I just think he'll stick Dominic Calvert-Lewin up there. Again, preferably for me, I'd like both Calvert-Lewin and Keane up there because I think they could benefit each other, and I think it'd make a real decent partnership, because I think Dom offers something that Keane doesn't and Keane offers something that Dom doesn't. But I just don't think Marco Silva will play 2 up front, and out of the 2 I think he'll put Dominic Calvert-Lewin up there. Evertonian TV says, hi mate, just wondering, do you have Google Hangouts? If you do, I'd love to start talking to you. I don't, but it's definitely something I'll look to get in the future, and obviously I'll have as many Evertonians on as possible talking about these type of games, and it's definitely something that I'll look to. It's been a bit of a manic week in terms of Everton with all the previews, reviews, instant match reactions, like you said, trying to keep up with the plethora of abuse I got from Sheffield United fans last Saturday. So as soon as we get a little bit of a break, when we go back to playing 1 game a week and things start to slow down a little bit, I'll definitely have a look at Google Hangouts and things like that. Shabba says, welcome back again, Cam, your hair's getting a bit long, mate. I know you said this last time before I got my haircut, and now I feel like I've got to get my haircut again, but I really can't afford 16 quid again after only getting it done last week. I might leave it now for a bit. I don't know. I get paid next Monday, so we'll see where that takes me. Probably to the barbers. David says DCL will start. I agree. Evertonian TV says if we lose but put in our best, they should hold their heads high. Heads up, I agree, spot on. Jeff says, alright, Cam, I'm really regretting my life choices now. Everton are probably going to concede 5. I don't really care anymore. I'm struggling to get enthusiastic about this game. Everton are let down. We could, mate, we could. But equally, we could score 2 or 3, and that the spirits lifted. And if we win this game by any fucking amount of goals, if we win 1-0, if we win 2-1, if we win 3-0, everybody is going to get a massive lift. The players will get a big lift, the fans will get a big lift, the manager will get a big lift. And I know it seems a little bit unlikely at the minute. Well, it seems massively unlikely with the form that we're in. But anything could happen as an Evertonian. Anything could happen. We've seen us go a blood of Manchester United 4-0 last season, and I know Manchester United weren't in great form at the time, and I know we were in decent form, but nobody's seen 4-0 coming. When we beat Manchester City a couple of seasons ago 4-0, nobody's seen that coming. So anything can happen as an Evertonian, and we don't know. And it is easy to say that we'll probably get absolutely turned over and we'll get battered, and if we do, we'll probably all sit there and go, how did we not see that coming? But if we win 4 or 5-0, I know we'll all be ecstatic, but I don't really think anyone will go, but yeah, that's not like Everton, that, because it is like Everton. It's like Everton to turn up in a game against Manchester City. It's like Everton to turn up in a big game when it really matters, and we'll when it matters in terms of a big team, and put in a decent performance, and then next week go on and be beaten away from home. But again, like you said, anything could happen with Everton at the minute. David says, as long as we don't lose 4 or 5. Listen, as long as we put in a performance where we show fight, where we show passion, where we show urgency, then I'll be happy, because we all know nobody is in denial here. We all know Manchester City have got a better squad than Everton, they've got a better team than Everton, and they've got better quality players than Everton. That's not being negative, that's not being negative towards Everton or our players. That's just pure fact. If you don't believe that, you don't know what you're talking about. That's pure fact. They've got a better team, they've got a better squad, they've got better players, and they've got a better manager as well. Let's have it right, let's be honest. So if they go out and they beat us 2 or 3-0, then that's expected. But if they go out and they beat us 2 or 3-0 and we haven't bothered turning up, and we haven't bothered, putting a pair of boots on or putting the shirt on and really fighting and really, at least trying to get something out of the game, then that's when the fans will be massively disappointed. That's when fans will start to jump on the managers back, the players back. If they, if they turn up and they beat us 2 or 3-0, but we've given our absolute all throughout the game, and the players are running off the players are walking off the pitch absolutely knackered, sweat, fucking mud everywhere, and we can sit there as fans and go, well, you know what, they put in a fucking shift today, and we got turned over by a better team, granted, but they put in an absolute shift today, and they've done us proud there, and we couldn't have done much better. It's that couldn't have done much better for me that kills, Evertonians. Just that, well, you know what, we could have, if we'd have created a little bit more, we maybe could have scored. If we'd have been, quicker to that ball, then Dominic Calvert-Lewin might have got a goal. If we'd have been quicker to that ball, and Richarlison might have got a goal. It's that really pisses you off and kills you off. Whereas if we can't talk about that, because we say we literally played to the best of our ability and it wasn't good enough, then we can't really ask for more. Where are we? Good soul says, want to win every game, don't care what's happening on the other side of Stanley Park. What'll be, it'll be. Hopefully we can beat Liverpool too. Exactly, spot on, mate. I agree 100%. Gamer Girl says, Manchester City's going to turn you over. They might do, but we might turn them over as well. David says, probably Gamer, but we don't go into fold. Exactly, spot on. Good Soul says, you're probably right, Gamer Girl, they do most teams. Just want us to show spirit. Exactly. Gamer Girl says, no one could stop Sergio Aguero. Fair enough. Ian says, bookies offering great odds for us. I'll be chancing my arm on a few good vibes. There you go. Listen, I'm not a betting man, and I'm not gonna tell anybody to bet or suggest anybody put a bet on. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if we win on Saturday night. I really wouldn't. Teddy says, time for Everton to start showing some hunger and heart and have a go at City. I agree, spot on. Carl says, I think it's wrong how people are silver out. People only talk about the bad. Why not talk about when we beat Manchester United 4-0, draw with Liverpool, the win against the Manx, Chelsea and Arsenal. Exactly. I think people are judging off the start of the season so far, and obviously, we've had some, pretty poor defeats so far. Sheffield United, Aston Villa as well, and we haven't played anyone big yet, and that's the argument now. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting, quite a lot on Twitter and Evertonians. I don't know why one of my screens has just decided to cut out there, but it's come back on. There you go. That's the thing that's happening with a lot of Evertonians at the minute, is you're getting a lot of, well, we haven't played anybody big yet. We haven't played any of the big teams. No, this is the first opportunity where we'll be playing a big team, and it's the first opportunity for us to go out there and show that, we can step up at our level, and we need to do that realistically. Shabba says, I'll cut you there for £2. Brilliant. When do you want me? Father Damien Cara says, mate, even if we win, so what? We always can win these one-off games. It's consistency that we need, and we won't get it with this clan of a manager silver out. Listen, I agree, spot on. We do need consistency. We really do need consistency. I'm not silver out yet. I think it's a little bit premature, but you're spot on. We do need to be a little bit more consistent, but we need to be massively more consistent if we're going to look to break into the top 6, top 7, whatever. Carl says, silver in. That's where I am at the minute, fair enough. Wayne says, Schneiderlin ain't bossed a game of football in 2 years. Do you think he's an alcohol and drugs? Maybe he just doesn't care because we pay him 120k a week. I don't think he's an alcohol on drugs. I just think Morgan Schneiderlin's a specific type of player who plays in a specific type of role, and I don't always think the position that Marco Silva wants to play him in or does play him in is suited to his capabilities and his ability. But Marco Silva still persists on playing him there, to be honest with you. I think he's put in decent performances in the past sort of 6 to 8 months, but I think he's also put in shocking performances as well. So I don't think Morgan Schneiderlin goes out of his way to try and be somebody that he's not. And I think Marco Silva maybe thinks that he will do that for the club, but I just don't think he would. David says, easy father, would Jesus strike him down? And Carl says, if we sack him, who do we bring in? People are deluded that they think Jose would come to us. We're not a big enough club for him. I think Jose would come to Everton, to be honest, but I don't think he'd succeed at Everton. So So I don't think it's a case of whether Jose Mourinho would come to us or be persuaded by us. I just don't think he'd succeed at Everton. I really, really don't. If you're enjoying today's stream, by the way, so far, please do hit the like button. It means a massive, massive amount to me. 14 in so far. Get it shared as well to all your mates, all your family, everybody that'll be excited for this game. Every Evertonian that you know, get the stream shared. Get as many people in here as possible so we can talk a little bit more about the game. I'm going to go into some of my thoughts in just a minute. I'm just tweeting this team out. Bear with me 2 seconds. Jeff says, you can't defend Silva. We have not come from behind in any league game to win. We crumble consistently. Lazy year, and this year and his tactics are cowardly and safety first. Silva needs to learn bravely. Listen, I agree, and that's another big issue. We spoke about the issues at Everton a couple of last week, on Steam, and we spoke about what Marco Silva needs to fix, and it did come out across as, you know, a very Silva outish stream, or you know, me going at Marco Silva, and, you know, I made it clear that I wasn't Silva out, and I think he's got a lot to learn, but I'm willing to give him time. But that is definitely something, you know, he has to learn. He has to be able to string wins together, and he has to be able to, you know, rile this team up to have the bollocks and have the fight and have the passion to come from behind when we do concede. Wayne says, how you doing, Cam? I'm not doing too bad myself, thank you. I hope you're doing well yourself. Score prediction for the weekend, please. My chip box down at the moment. Don't mind missing this one. I'm not going to give a score prediction because it's Everton, and whenever I give score predictions, it goes the complete other way, so I'm not going to give one this week. Carl says, I want what's best for us, but if we do sack Silva, the new manager will be the same as him. Listen, I partly agree. I think, name me a manager that could come into Everton Football Club and solve the issues at the minute. Name me a manager that could come into Everton Football Club and, you know, get us to where we need to be within quick succession. I just don't think there is one. Nick says, always here, but if Silva is boss, then he has my back. And thank you very much, Nick. And yeah, listen, like I said, that's same with me. I'm not jumping on anything too soon yet. I think he's still got a lot to learn. But I think the board will give him time anyway. We're talking about the Silva out argument, and we're talking about whether Silva will still be here in 2-3 months time by Christmas, but he will be here because the board won't sack him realistically, and unless things get drastic quick, I don't think the board are going to sack him. Anyway, talking about the game, listen, we'll go through my predicted starting 11. We're 20 minutes in. We haven't even mentioned my predicted starting 11, so we'll fly through it real quick. I've gone with Jordan Pickford in goal again. Pretty self-explanatory. Obviously played against Sheffield Wednesday in midweek. Done quite well. Made a really, really good save in the first 5 minutes after the mistake from Tom Davies. I've gone for Luca Dean at left back, taking the captain's armband again. Done well against Sheffield Wednesday again. Captain the team for the first time. Yerry Mina and Michael Keane at centre-half. Michael Keane coming back in for Mason Holgate. Listen, I think Mason Holgate done okay on Wednesday night. I think there was bits of his game that he needs to improve on. I just wouldn't put him in against a team like Manchester City. Granted, Michael Keane hasn't been in the best of form recently. Granted, Yerry Mina hasn't been in the best of form recently. But I think they've proven at times this season and at times last season they can form a solid defence, and they can be really, really solid against top teams as well, especially Michael Keane towards the back end of last season. Whereas I think putting Mason Holgate in there would be a little bit too dangerous. I think he'd be obviously vulnerable to making a mistake, and if you make a mistake against the side with the attacking prowess and quality like Manchester City have got, then you're in shit street. I've gone for Jabril Sidibe at right back. Now, we obviously, like you said, played on Tuesday, for only the second time against Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously made his debut against Lincoln in the Carabao Cup in the second round, and played for the second time against Sheffield Wednesday on Tuesday night. Thought he played really, really well. Got a fantastic assist for Dominic Calvert-Lewin's first goal, which was, you know, a real decent goal as well. And for me, I just think he should keep his place now. I think he should get a decent run in the team. I don't think Seamus Coleman's done an awful lot this season for me to sit here and say, no, he definitely has to be in there week in, week out. And I don't think Jabril Sidibe's really put a foot wrong in the 2 games that he's played. He looked a little bit shaky, granted, against Lincoln City, and that's fair enough. That happens in your debut in a new team, in a new country. But I actually thought he played quite well on Tuesday night against Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously got a really, really good assist, and he seems to be a little bit more direct going forward than Seamus Coleman is. He seems to be a little bit more confident breaking forward, and I think that's partly because he knows that he can afford to be able to break forward and he can get back in time, whereas I think Seamus struggles a bit because he thinks, well, if I break forward too quickly and if I take the ball too far, I'm not going to be able to get back in time to help out if needed. So I'll go with Jabril Sidibe in there. I've gone for a midfield 3 of Fabian Delph, Morgan Schneiderlin and Alex Iwobi in the 10. Now again, the Alex Iwobi one is something that I'm a little bit humming and hawing about. I want to see Alex Iwobi in the number 10 on Saturday afternoon. I think Alex Iwobi should definitely start. Whether Marco Silva will start him or whether he revert to putting Gylfi Sigurdsson back in there, that is of course a different question. In terms of the 2 centre defensive midfielders, I've gone for Fabian Delph. There's not really anybody that'll come in for Fabian Delph. Obviously, Jean-Philippe Gbamin's still injured. Andre Gomez still injured as well, so they're not in contention. In terms of next to him, I've gone for Morgan Schneider. Now, this is something that I would probably disagree with. I'd have liked to see Tom Davies in there again. Made a couple of silly mistakes on Tuesday night, but overall done okay. I just don't think that Marco Silva trusts him to be able to perform in a game like this against a team like Manchester City. I think Morgan Schneider will come back in again. Two defensive midfielders against, arguably the best team in the league, the champions of the country. You could see a point as to why Marco Silva would go with that. He wouldn't have got away with it going with that against Sheffield Wednesday on Tuesday. However, like I said, I think Marco Silva will revert back to putting Morgan Schneider in there next to Fabian Delph. And you know what? I wouldn't be too bummed about it. I'd like to see Tom Davies in there, and I'd like to see him get a little bit of a run and Morgan keep out the team. But again, is Tom Davies good enough to be able to man the midfield against the midfield of the quality of Manchester City's next to Fabian Delph? I don't know. He hasn't played an awful lot of games, and purely basing it off his games time this season, I think Schneider will be in there as well, as obviously for the experience. So like I said, I've gone for Alex Iwobi in the 10. Now again, this is something that I really, really want to see. I can see Marco Silva doing, but I can also see Marco Silva reverting from and bringing in Gylfi Sigurdsson again. Obviously, Gylfi Sigurdsson come off the bench on Tuesday night. Done okay when he come off the bench. Didn't really do an awful lot. Hasn't really done an awful lot this season, to be honest with you. One thing we know with Gylfi Sigurdsson is he provides, a constant ability to be able to win a game of football for you. He's got a fantastic strike on him, and he's always got that little bit of magic in him that can turn a game around. He showed that in multiple games in previous years against top teams as well. I just think Alex Iwobi's got the edge over him at the minute. I think Bernard needs to be in this team. I think Bernard definitely needs to be in this team. He provides a lot of pace, he provides a lot of urgency, and he provides a lot of skill down that left-hand side. Manchester City's weakness at the minute is defensively. They're not fantastic defensively. They've got a couple of real key injuries, Laporte obviously being the main one. So I think Bernard needs to stay in there. And for me, Alex Iwobi done fantastically well on Tuesday night. Got a really good assist for Dominic Calvert-Lewin's second goal, and I just think he should keep his place there. I don't see the point in bringing Alex Iwobi out, and I don't see the point in bringing Bernard out and putting Alex Iwobi at the left just to make way for Gylfi Sigurdsson, who's not in form at the minute. So I've gone for Alex Iwobi in the number 10 role, and I've gone for a front three of Bernard on the left, Richarlison on the right, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front. Now Richarlison is self-explanatory. Obviously he's going to be in the starting 11, I dare say, unless there's some sort of injury or something happens between now and then, but let's hope not. Bernard on the left, like I said, it's either going to be between Bernard and Alex Iwobi, isn't it? Depending if Marco Silva wants to bring Gylfi Sigurdsson back. If he doesn't want to bring Gylfi Sigurdsson back in and he's happy with keeping Iwobi in the number 10 role, then it will be Bernard on the left. And I've gone for Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front now. Listen, and this is probably one that's going to stir a few people up in the comments, and this is probably one that people are going to disagree with in the comment section, and I understand it to a degree. I really want Moise Kean to carry on playing games of football for Everton. I really want Moise Kean to succeed at Everton. I think Moise Kean has struggled a little bit over the last couple of games, talking Bournemouth away and talking Sheffield United at home, and even Wolves at home as well. I think he's struggled, and I just don't see Marco Silva putting him in against a side like Manchester City to play from the off. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin's performance on Tuesday night will be very uplifting to Marco Silva, obviously getting 2 goals, 2 decent finishes, let's be honest. The second one was a real striker's finish in terms of the way he stepped back and he expected that ball to come in from Alex Iwobi, and the first one obviously was a fantastic ball from Sadiba, and a really clever finish as well. And I just think Marco Silva will see the experience that Dominic Calvert-Lewin's got over Moise Kean, the fact obviously that he's already scored this season and he's got himself underway, and I just think that if Marco Silva goes with a 1 up front, I think it'll be Dominic Calvert-Lewin over Moise Kean and Cenk Tosun. Personally, I'd like them both to be in the team. I'd like Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Moise Kean to be in there, and I'd like to go with 2 strikers and go really positive, but I just don't see him doing that at all, and I see Dominic Calvert-Lewin being the striker that he picks. Let me know what you think about my predicted starting 11. Do you agree with it? Do you not? If you don't, what would your predicted starting 11 be? What changes would you make? Do you agree that this is the starting 11 that Marco Silva's likely to go with, or do you think he'll take a risk on Tom Davies? Do you think he'll take a risk on Moise Kean? Do you think he'll bring Sigurdsson back in, and do you think he will bring Seamus Coleman back in as well? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, of course. Let's get right back into the live comments now. Where are we? Oh, we've got loads to get through. Kamer Girls, again, throwing Liverpool shouts out there that I'm not even going to entertain. Lavvid says, I'm not Silva out, but he does need to learn quickly. I agree, spot on. Carl says, we miss Kabaman. We miss Kabaman in games. He was very accurate tackles, and Delph has been impressive, but he rushes them tackles. Kabaman has them. We do, and listen, we haven't seen an awful lot of Jean-Philippe Kabaman, obviously, this season, coming for a couple of games, done well, started to see him, slowly getting used to the team, slowly getting used to the squad, but obviously, he went out with that injury, and we haven't seen him since. I think he'll be a real positive, player have a real positive impact on this team, and I can't wait to see him obviously when he's fit. If you're enjoying today's team, by the way, please do hit that like button. It means a massive amount to me. Subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. We're about 20 subscribers away from 900 now, so a massive thank you to everybody that has subscribed recently. A massive thank you to everybody for watching the stream as per usual as well. David says, explains why you're here, gamer. Sula have a video, spot on. K-McGill says, you know real Scousers are Reds. Well, they're just not, are they? Let's be honest, they're just not. I'm a real Scouser. Most of my family are real Scousers, and none of us are Reds, so, you know, that's a lie. Everton FC is the best. Says, what's happening, my guy? What's happening, mate? Hope you're doing well. David says, born from Blues gamer, do research, love. Jeff says, maybe 5-3-2 could work, more solid than two strikers on the pitch. We can't defend anyway, so it's worth a try. I don't think he'd go with five at the back. He's gone with five at the back in previous games last season, and it didn't quite work. Again, you're spot on. It would offer, you know, more attacking roles for the likes of Luca Dean, and whether it be Seamus Coleman or Jibril Sidibe, whoever plays on the right, and it would offer two up front. I don't know whether it'd settle with fans in terms of having five defenders, although it could be seen as three defenders. I don't know. And if you went with five at the back, you'd have to bring three centre-halves in, and that would mean you'd have to play Mason Holgate in there. And whilst I'm not massively opposed to that, I just think playing three centre-halves would massively confuse Yerry Mina, massively confuse Michael Keane, and Mason Holgate would struggle in my opinion. Father Damien says, Sidibe, Defo, Coleman has finished as a starter. He'd do well in the Championship if we play Snyderman. We might as well give up. He will play Sig. I'd say a Wobie in for Bernard. Fair enough. Lavovich says, Keane is obviously struggling, but I will play him from the start because he needs the experience to adapt. DCL may be in favour of his double, but let's not get carried away. Fair enough. Listen, Marco Silva may think like that. I'm just trying to put myself in Marco Silva's boots, and this is what I think Marco Silva will do. Ian says 3-1 for us. I hope so, mate. I hope so. Cal says, typical Red having their best run in years and still obsessed with Everton. That's it, mate. They all are, aren't they? Father Damien says, Keane needs somebody beside him. DCL and Keane would be a great in my opinion. I agree, spot on. David says, Iwobi is not a winger. Bernard and Dean have a great understanding. Sorry, Father, but that doesn't work. Fair enough. Arteta Money says, hello, mate. Got here a bit late. No problem, mate. Thanks for getting involved. Would you start Davis or Delph, or play a 3 in the centre and take out Sigurdsson for someone more defensive-minded? I'd take out Sigurdsson, to be honest, and play Iwobi, Delph, and probably Davis, but I don't think Marco Silva will go with that. I think Marco Silva will go with either Iwobi, Delph and Schneiderlin, or Delph, Schneiderlin and Gylfi Sigurdsson. I'm not going to even entertain it. Arteta Money says, would prefer Davis myself and CM, but can see his thinking if Schneiderlin comes in due to City's press. Exactly. Good Soul says, don't want Schneiderlin anywhere near the side. I don't think he offers any quality, nothing defensively or offensively. Constant side with passing. Fair enough and very understandable as well. Nick says, exactly the same team as I'd go for with, except for Davis for Schneiderlin, simply because he has had his first performance against Wednesday and wasn't great, but I think home versus City he'd be up for it. Of course, the game that he scored that fantastic goal, the first goal of his Everton career. Again, I'll probably put Davis in there, but I just don't think Marco Silva will go with it. David says, Schneiderlin versus Fernandinho, Silva and De Bruyne will get smashed. Lavovich says, you probably called it right, but that is what he picks, and I would disagree. Listen, I'd be happy with this team if he picks it, but I would understand people wanting Davis to be in there. I would understand people, maybe wanting Keane to be up there, or maybe wanting two strikers. I definitely understand that. Where are we? Nick says, with you though, mate, would love the two strikers, DCL and Keane. Exactly, spot on. Good Soul says, Silva needs to have a plan B, C and D for this game. Could go anywhere. Example, if we go 3-0 down, we just need to take our medication and shut up shop to stop getting embarrassed. Yeah, listen, I just think anything could happen. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just remove Gamer Girl because she's throwing reports about and all that sort of shite. So I'm just gonna get rid of her because she's a nonsense at the minute. You can't comment back. I don't know why you're watching an Everton team anyway, but there you go. Yeah, listen, I think Silva needs to understand that we can't be lackadaisical in this game. We can't have any lapses of concentration. We need to go out there and we need to give 150%, and we need to make sure that we're playing with passion and we're playing with fight. And what'll be, City have got naturally a better squad, they've got naturally a better manager, they've got naturally a better team. But as long as we give our all, I think we're more than good enough to get something out of this game on our day. Wayne says I will play Davis, Delvin, Schneiderlin. I won't be left and dropping now because any 2 of the 3 of them will get overrun in the midfield. Fair enough. And Soraya Salim says, I agree with Good Soul, always speaks sense. He he definitely does. Anyway, let's dive into some of the comments that I put down here for this game. Listen, like we said, Manchester City are a team that obviously aren't likely to play many crosses over the top. Something that we've struggled with massively this season is teams coming to Goodison Park and us travelling to teams and then playing route one, long balls over the top. Simple football, really. That's what we've struggled with at multiple times this season and last season, was the simplicities of the game. Something that we haven't really struggled with is teams that play fast football along the floor and don't really go for the route one ball over the top, route one, massive long ball. And Manchester City won't do that, obviously. They're not likely to throw multiple crosses into the box. The strikers aren't the tallest of players. They are a team, obviously, that are majorly based around playing quick football along the floor. And whilst that could hurt us, I actually think it could be a benefit for us in terms of them not throwing crosses into the box. Obviously, we've struggled massively defensively over the last couple of weeks with defending balls coming into the box, with defending corners, with defending set pieces, and City will get a plethora of set pieces on Saturday afternoon, of course. But if we can make sure that we defend those correctly, I don't think we're likely to see a lot of long balls. I don't think we're likely to see a lot of crosses thrown into the box. We're likely to see a lot of balls come through the middle, come through the floor, and sprayed across the ground. And if we can intercept those and we can understand where those balls are going to be going before they're played, I actually think we can the style of play that City play could actually benefit us on Saturday afternoon. Don't get me wrong, they play at a whole different level to what we play at, and they play at a whole different level to what many teams in the world play at, so they'll be a lot faster than anything we can prepare for. They'll be a lot quicker, and they'll be a lot more clued up. However, I just think it benefits us slightly more than the typical launch the ball into the box and we struggle to try and defend it. Obviously, we won't rely on zonal marking as much as well, unless it comes down to corners and things like that. So like I said, I actually think that the way that Manchester City play could benefit us in terms of breaking forward as well and hitting teams on the break. It could benefit us. Like I said, they're going to try and hit us on the break, and they're going to be coming at us forward on the floor rather than over the top, and that's when things start to get a little bit confusing. Having said that, the defence still needs to be massively, massively solid. That's not an excuse. That's not me saying that they won't throw a load of balls into the box so we can lapse concentration. We don't really have to worry about defending as much. This is a Manchester City team with one of the world's best players in Raheem Sterling in it, one of the world's best strikers over the last 10 years in Sergio Aguero in it, a fantastic come player in Gabriel Jesus in it, one of the the best player in the Premier League in my opinion in Kevin De Bruyne, a plethora of world-class talents in it, so we can't afford to lapse concentration at any point. We need to be massively solid defensively, and we need to understand that while City may play across the floor, and while City mightn't throw loads of balls into the boxes, and while he mightn't play like some of the sides that we've played against in recent weeks, they're still going to be obviously very, very quick. They're still going to be fast at every single ball, and they're still going to be wanting to, to break us down. And at the end of the day, this isn't a team that are going to sit back, give us the ball and say, you come at us. This is a team that are going to want to load of the ball and want to come at Everton. And I think that's why, again, that'll benefit us. We struggle against teams that go, here's the ball, you do something now, and what we'll do is we'll just hit you on the break, throw a ball over the top and nick a goal in the last 10 minutes. That's what we struggle with massively. We've seen it against Leicester last season, we've seen it against Sheffield United. We struggle against teams that defend their asses off, sit there, say, you have the ball, you create something, and what we'll do is we'll just throw the odd ball over the top and catch it defensively, because we just genuinely can't create enough. Whereas Manchester City won't do that. They'll run against us, they'll want the ball constantly, and they'll want them to be creating, and that means every time we get the ball, we're going to be looking to break forward, and every time we're getting the ball, we're going to be looking to make the most out of it. The players are also going to need to understand that we're not going to get many opportunities on the ball, and we're not going to get many opportunities to break forward and create an opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net. Previous games, like the Bournemouth game, like the game against Sheffield United, these are two teams that let us have a lot of the ball, and we just weren't good enough to do anything with it. Manchester City won't do that at all, so we don't have an option. We need to be good enough on Saturday afternoon. In terms of our record, obviously, like we said, we spoke about when we first started the team, our record against the top sides over the last 6 or 7 months being fantastic. Since the defeat to Manchester City in February, obviously we've beaten Manchester United, beaten Arsenal, beaten Chelsea, drew with Spurs away from home, drew with Liverpool at Goodison as well. So I've got quite a decent record against the top side since that game, and we actually put in quite a decent performance in that game as well, if you remember, despite getting beat. It's the first big 6 side that we've played so far this season. It's the first real big challenge for us, and obviously we've struggled against teams that on paper we should be beating. This is a team that you'd argue on paper we shouldn't be beating. Doesn't mean that we're not going to get anything else of the game. Like we said earlier on, stranger things have happened, and I wouldn't be surprised if Everton go out there and get the 3 points on Saturday afternoon. And obviously, like we said, they only lost once since the Manchester City game in February, and that was of course last week to Sheffield United. And again, a game that didn't come at the greatest of times, because it's the game directly before it's the Premier League game directly before the Manchester City game. However, when you look at our record at Goodison Park so far in the last sort of 6 to 8 months, when you look at our record since that City game in February, you know, we've done quite well, really, you know, especially against the top sides and against the sides that we should be beating as well. So listen, like we've said multiple times in today's stream, this isn't a game that I don't think any of us will look at and go, oh, we'll go out there and we'll get the 3 points, or oh, we should go out there and we should get the win. City have got a world-class team, they've got a world-class manager, they've got a world-class squad, and they're going to come out to get the 3 points. This is a massive game for them as well. They've already dropped points against the likes of Norwich, against the likes of Tottenham as well this season, so they can't afford to drop any points as well, especially considering Liverpool haven't dropped any points this season. So they're going to come out, they're going to want to, you know, get the 3 points, they're going to want to win, they're going to want to attack us fiercely. We need to stay strong defensively, we need no stupid mistakes, no stupid lapses of concentration, none of this, oh, well, you know, we just weren't concentrating at the time, or, you know, they hit us fast on the break, none of that whatsoever. We've defended against it before, we've defended against teams like this before. We need to be as solid as we were in the first couple of weeks of the season. We need to see a defensive performance like the one that we've seen against Palace, like the one that we've seen against Watford as well, and not like the one that we've seen against Villa, Sheffield United, Bournemouth, or Wolves to an extent, because we conceded 2 silly goals against them as well. Like I said, this isn't going to be a game that City are going to sit back and give us a lot of the ball and allow us to break forward, and I actually think that could benefit Everton, because I don't think Everton do well when teams give us a lot of the ball and say, go on, do something with it. I think we genuinely do better when we understand that we're not going to get a lot of the ball, and when we do get the ball, we have to make use of it. Listen, like I said, I'm not under any illusion. This is going to be a tough game on Saturday afternoon. A game that you instantly look at and go, you know, what happens here? But we're Evertonians at the end of the day. We support Everton Football Club. Everybody in the live comments, everybody watching on YouTube have supported Everton, I dare say, for their entire lives, or at least understand Everton, and we understand that nothing is impossible with this football club. It would not surprise me if we go out and get the 3 points on Saturday, but it would not surprise me if we go out and, you know, get absolutely turned over. The most important thing for me is that we go out there and we show 110% commitment, we show 110% passion, we show 110% heart, and we don't, you know, don't make any stupid mistakes, and we don't look to be waltzing around and not being interested and this, that and the other, because we can't afford to against a team like Manchester City, because we will get absolutely torn apart. So anyway, yeah, they're my thoughts on the game. Let me know your thoughts in the live comments before we end the stream. If you're watching as a YouTube video afterwards as well, let me know your thoughts down below. If you have enjoyed, please do hit the like button. It means a massive amount to me. See if we can get to 15 likes before we end the stream. Don't forget to go and follow us over on Twitter. It's at MightyBluesYT to keep up to date with all of the latest Everton news and information. We'll be streaming again tomorrow night, doing obviously the press conference reaction to Marco Silva's pre-game press conference before the Manchester City game. Just a couple of things before I go. I want to say Everton have officially partnered with drinks partner. Hang on, let me get the name up so I don't absolutely cock it up. Osonic it is. How the fuck did they mess that up? Everton have officially partnered with Osonic. They've signed a multi-year deal with the isotonic drinks manufacturer to become, again, another drinks partner of Everton Football Club. Obviously, we've seen last week we partnered with Monster Energy to become the official energy drink partner of Everton. We've now partnered with Osonic to become the official isotonic partner of Everton Football Club. So a little bit of information there, again, good for marketing, again, good for bringing money into the club. Also, like we mentioned briefly earlier on the stream, our game against Watford in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup has been confirmed. It'll be played on Tuesday the 29th of October at 7:45 p.m. Nothing to confirm whether it'll be on telly yet, but of course it is at Goodison Park, so hopefully we'll see as many people down as possible supporting the lads, and you know, it's a massive opportunity for us to go further in the competition and hopefully have a decent chance of, you know, maybe even getting some silverware this season. Again, lastly, just before we go, don't know if any of you have seen it. I assume a lot of you will have the Moise Keane banner ahead of Saturday's game. It will be on display on Saturday. The No Racismo banner for Moise Keane. Obviously, it's absolutely fantastic. The fans that got involved in designing that have done an unbelievable job. The player himself loves it. Loves it. The player himself loves it. I've said loves it again. The player himself loves it, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. It shows the togetherness of the football club. It shows that obviously racism has no place in society, no place in this world, no place in football whatsoever. And you know, it's a really, really good banner as well, and it'll be on show on Saturday afternoon against Manchester City. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's team. Where are we? So Raya says, I agree with good soul, always speaks sense. We've said that one. David says, we don't have defensive pace. Fair enough, I actually agree. Sarai says, Pickford, key man on Saturday, needs to be on fire. He certainly does. Lavin says, if he plays Keane, I will play Tosun because he needs a robust partner. I'd also wouldn't be against playing Moise Keane and Cenk Tosun. I wouldn't be against playing, you know, Calvert-Lewin and Keane and Tosin. I just think 2 up front could benefit us massively, but I don't think he'll go with that. David says, I agree, Soraya. DCL comes deep far too often when his Tosin will hold position and help stretch the pitch. Eugene says, we need to start winning against Manchester City at Goodison Park and climb up the Premier League table. We do, hopefully, fingers crossed. And David says, sorry, meant Lav. That's okay, no problem. And Nick says, there will be goals, I'm sure of it. Yes, there probably will be. Let's hope that there's more goals for Everton than there is Manchester City, obviously, because that'll mean we'll win the game. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's team. A massive thank you to everybody for watching. Please do hit the like button if you have enjoyed today's stream. Like we said, we'll be live again tomorrow at around 6 o'clock for the press conference. It won't be 6 o'clock, sorry, that's a lie. I've got a diving lesson. We'll be live tomorrow at around 6:30 with the press conference reaction to Marco Silva's pre-game press conference. Obviously, I dare say you'll mention Andre Gomez's injury. I dare say you'll give us an update on Jean-Philippe Gbamin's injury as well. And I dare say he'll give us a little bit of an update on team news ahead of Saturday's game. So don't forget to join us for that. A big thanks to everybody for watching today. Really does mean a massive amount to me. Don't forget to hit the like button if you have enjoyed. Like I said, if you're watching as a YouTube video, leave your comments in the comment section down below and I'll do my best to get involved with all of them as quickly as possible. Yeah, big thanks to everybody that has recently subscribed to the channel as well. The subscribers are flying up recently, getting so close to 900 now, obviously on the road to 1,000. So really do appreciate every single one of you, and I also do appreciate everybody that's been here from the start as well. Wayne, Good Soul, David, all names, Lavid as well, loads of people that have been here from, you know, for months now. So big thanks to everybody that is new to the channel, and a big thanks to everybody that has been here for quite some time. The support has been unbelievable. It's hard to fathom sometimes to that, you know, people actually genuinely want to sit here and listen to me ramble about Everton, but I really am thankful. And yeah, let's just keep it up and see if we can get to 900 subscribers as soon as possible. Big thanks for watching. Please do hit the like button if you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Wayne says, does that mean this team's going to have more energy now? We've got 3 energy drinks on tap. Hope so. I hope so, mate. I really do hope so. I suppose we'll see on Saturday afternoon. Wayne says, have a good one. Thank you very much, Wayne. Good Soul says, top show again, Cam. Thank you very much, Good Soul. And Wayne says, City. Who are they? Exactly, spot on. Who are they? Hopefully we'll have a little bit of an opposition preview as well from Andy from Manchester City Fan TV. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be trying to record that a little bit later on today. So hopefully before the game on Saturday, we'll have a little bit of an oppositional preview from Andy. So look out for that one as well. He'll give us a little bit more of an insight on Manchester City and talk us through their form so far this season. So obviously look out for that one, and look out for tomorrow's live team at around 6:30, going through the press conference, of Marco Silva and reacting to some of the quotes that he has said. Wayne says, help his channel grow, top lad, up the toppies. Thank you very much, Wayne. Really do appreciate that. Once again, big thanks to everybody for watching. Please hit the like button if you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new to the channel as well, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.